Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Wilhelm Screamin'. Welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Witch Queen Season of the Seraph intel. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the new dungeon, Spire of the Watcher, because what else is there to talk about? Certainly not a lot of other things going on in the Destiny community at the moment. But if you're like me, you jumped into the dungeon yesterday, and after finishing your first scuff run, you started tailoring your loadout to find the things that worked best. Well, of course, I found a couple of cheeses and a glitch that will make this whole thing a lot easier, even if you're going for a solo flawless run. In hindsight, I have seen other dungeons in the past much more difficult than this one. I saw a lot of people actually being able to complete this within the first hour of its release and actually getting a solo flawless run on the first day. But of course, everything we're going to talk about will make that whole process a lot easier, even if you're just trying to complete the dungeon on a weekly basis and get it into sort of a farm mode. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the bell, the post notifications, so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 content. So as you can see here, this is an out-of-bounds glitch that I haven't really explored to its fullest, if I'm being perfectly honest. I have a feeling, though, that this glitch will allow you to skip levels. So if you're trying to avoid an area where there's a lot of ads at the risk of dying, maybe for just a flawless run, as you would need teammates for this particular glitch to work, you could essentially hide out here, skip down, and find a way back into the map, as I'm sure there is one, just because of how the geometry of this map is built. There's always a way in. I just haven't found it yet. But I was hoping in showing my audience that maybe some people might actually go and try exploring this themselves and find a way back in. I kind of got turned around a little bit, if I'm being perfectly honest. I started going up because that was the way I thought you had to go in order to progress. It's actually down. Even though you do go up for a section, you actually end up going down ultimately. So I actually went in the wrong direction. I have been anxious to get back into this area and do a little bit more exploring. Hopefully, maybe there's a way in so we can get those few secret chests just completely solo without actually having to do any of the encounters. Fingers crossed, I will upload as soon as I find one. Or, if one of you brilliant people out there happen to find one before me, please let me know about it. The next thing I really wanted to talk about was this particular mechanic. The mechanic that the whole dungeon is essentially based around, following the wires and activating the power. So if you haven't played the dungeon at all, basically the mechanic that you need to understand is you need to find a power station somewhere in a particular zone. It'll usually be a little Warmind looking Rasputin shaped node on the ground. Usually it'll be connected by either a yellow or in some cases a red wire. Now you know where the beginning one is because the node will actually have an arrow pointing out and the end one will have an arrow pointing inward. It's that simple. All you have to do is get a buff that drops from the Praetorians, and then you can go shoot these nodes and light them up, and once they're all lit up, you can usually do damage to a boss or progress through the area that you're in. Sometimes it unlocks a door, sometimes it triggers a damage phase. The Praetorian buff only lasts for about 30 seconds, I think, at its fullest extent, so you kind of have to be quick about it. Which is why this particular, I'm gonna perceive it as a glitch, because I can't imagine that this was the intentional way that Bungie wanted you to do it, though there is another mechanic that does seem a little bit more intentional, and maybe this just got kind of thrown in with it, is that you normally have to trigger these nodes in order. You sort of have to trace the wire from one to the other, and light them all up in that order while still maintaining the buff from the Praetorian. However, if you use the Shadebinder super, you can just light them all up at the same time simply by doing the light attack. It'll trigger them all simultaneously. Everything that's in the dome of that damage attack, I guess you would call it, just the dome of damage, everything will get lit up. So this saves a lot of time, especially if you're doing it solo. I think that's probably the easiest class currently to do this on just because of that mechanic, being able to light them all up at the same time. It'll save you a whole phase, possibly 2 phases of having to do this, depending on how long you can extend the super for. So in this particular area, I could use my super right in the middle. It would light all the ones in the middle up, and then I could extend out to each branch. Know that you can light multiple ones up at a time so long as you still have the buff and you've progressed to that point. So even if you're going on 2 different branches at once, in this case, you can light all the 4 in the middle up at the same time and then go out to the sides as you want. Now, the other thing that works with this mechanic is the Warmind cells. So bring your Warmind cell builds back. I'm actually really happy about this because I think it wasn't that long ago that I was saying I really hope Warmind cells come back and become viable for some reason again, because I really did enjoy the seasons where they were sort of the meta. I just thought the whole thing was kind of cool. Not maybe everything you could do with it, but I just liked seeing the thing pop out and then blow up. Well, Warmind cells also work with this mechanic. So if you trigger Warmind cells and you blow one up, it can trigger multiple nodes at the same time, so long as those are the ones that you've progressed to and they are in the dome of the damage radius. Right, that's the right word, radius. Also, remember to use global reach. Put that on because that extends that radius. You also, of course, will need either an Aikilos weapon or a Seraph weapon. Luckily, I have a few holdovers from, God, almost 2 years ago now. So that's going to be the number one thing, because this works in every single area and it comes in really handy in the final boss room, that is going to help, I think, most people, even novice players, potentially complete a flawless or a solo flawless run. I could see this being a very easy flawless strat if you had a group. Say if you had 3 stasis warlocks, it's over. Another section that I just wanted to discuss quickly, because I find it's one of the more annoying areas, and if you ever played 0 Hour, you're going to know what I'm talking about, of course, is the fans. I'm sure somebody screwed up a solo flawless run here at least once already. If you didn't know, there is a gap between the wall and the fan blades that allows you to slide down to the bottom. Just make sure that you're not going that fast and you sort of hover when you get to the bottom. Otherwise, you're going to land on the blades that are down there. It's one of those places where once you get it right the first time, you're going to wonder how you ever got it wrong. But just keep that in mind. I would hate for somebody to ruin a flawless or solo flawless run just because of a couple of fans and the inability of this game to create a really solid landing platform. I always just end up sliding off of any ledge. So between the stasis and the Warmind cells, you should be able to get through this fairly easily. The boss will probably be, of course, the toughest spot, but I find that actually the Stasis Warlock, with its dome of damage, actually does better in this room than it does at the previous boss, simply because everything's sort of stacked together here. The dome of damage actually extends a lot further. You get a lot more bang for your buck out of it. Warmind cells, I think, are going to be a must, especially if you're not using a Stasis Warlock. So on any other class, I think it's going to be the go-to. Warmind cells and Stasis, 2 ships that passed in the night. They finally meet. Go figure. Sounds like a fun time to me. And I'm going to go out and give my second try of the day for my solo flawless run. Hope you enjoyed this video and found something informational. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the bell to post notifications so you never miss out on any future Destiny 2 Witch Queen content like this. You can also follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below. And if you've watched to this point in the video, please remember to leave a hashtag Spire of the Watcher or Season of the Seraph or Witch Queen in the comments section down below. That'll give you another entry into the next giveaway for this video. And remember, I do one on every 1,000 subscribers, so you never want to miss out. And once more, I am Wilhelm Scream. Of course, we will see you next time. Little.